Hey, what's up, guys? This is Phoenix. Welcome back to another episode of Rise Again Music. On this week's episode, I got a very special episode for you guys. I got the homie Teller Banks coming in for a stay-at-home first ever interview. He's on talking about the Jackie Brown album he just dropped. I'm really excited about this album. Can't wait to talk with him about it. But before we get into that, man, I just want to talk to you guys about a couple albums, I've had the pleasure of listening to this week. Starting off with Division's album, Amusing Her Feelings. I've been really messing with this album. I guess if you would, kind of classify, who Division is, they're kind of like a contemporary new age R&B, if you want to put into kind of terms. But I've been messing with them for a while. They're signed to OVO Sound. They've actually produced, helped produce some of Drake's, songs, and you hear that in this album. You have features, man, from Snow Allegra. Of course, I love Snow Allegra, but you got Party Next Door on there, Ty Dolla $ign, definitely some really good features on there. But overall, I mean, track for track, man, it's a really good album. If you're into this type of music, definitely check it out. And if you're, you haven't listened to kind of what this new age, chill kind of R&B kind of vibe is, I recommend checking it out, man. It's really great music to listen to, and it's especially for those people who listen to like hip hop or like maybe something with a little bit more kind of hardcore style. It's kind of nice to mellow it out sometimes and listen to some of this music. So definitely check it out. It's Division's Amusing Her Feelings, man. If I had to give it a rating, I gotta go, man. I'm a big Division fan, so I gotta go 4 out of 5 on this one. It's definitely one of my favorite projects for sure. And another album I'm really excited about is Buddy and Kent Jam's Jank Tape Volume 1. I got put on to Buddy, man, from the homie Bowie, I want to say like last year. And man, I've been listening to his catalog ever since. He's a really great artist. And this is, just a perfect example of what he can do. And him working with Kent Jams, man, it's a really good album. She Thinks, like one of my favorite songs. There's some really good tracks on there. Definitely go check it out. This kind of new style of like hip hop and rap is I've always been a big fan of like old school rap, lyricists, things like that. And he has a nice mixture of both, and that's why I really, kind of resonated with this album, and I definitely love it. And there's just so many good albums out right now, and obviously we're all staying at home, we're all chilling out, hopefully staying healthy. And when you're at home, man, at least, I listen to a lot of music, man. I like to check out new artists. I like to, kind of reminisce with old artists and old, albums and everything. And so as of late, man, I've really been, checking out. I obviously collect records, I collect cassettes, so I've been checking out a lot of my tapes that I just haven't had the time to listen to. So I've been checking out a lot of people, and the one to the right to me, man, the main dudes. You got Fate, man. He's a great underground artist, here in the city. I would definitely recommend checking him out. I think they also do a podcast too. My homie Justin was on too, so he does a lot of great work for the city, and for them to come out the vinyl, I think was really cool. So I had to put that out for the vinyl of the week. But go check them out. That's Fate. That's Main Dudes. That's the project that I really like, man. He has definitely the old school vibe. But of course, I've been listening to a lot of Tribe, Lauryn Hill. There's just things I've been listening to, man. There's a lot of great artists out there. And one big album I really wanted to talk to you guys about is the project that Ashy Meat came out with, Quarantine Vibes. I love this project, man. He's got some great features on here. Ashy Meat has that vibe, man. Lyrically, I love it, man. His play on words, man, is just so good, and he's just really got some great music out. This Quarantine Vibes is no joke, man. Go check it out. It's available on all platforms, featuring Comms and Fly Life, man. He's got some really great people on there. But without further ado, man, I really want to talk to you guys, about this next project and our first ever special guest, and that's Teller Banks, man. Jackie Brown. Obviously, I'm going to talk with Teller about it, but before we get into that, I just want to get my little quick kind of take on it, man. I think it's one of his cleanest albums, if not his cleanest album. The production on this album is amazing, and that's why I wanted to talk to him, man. I'm really interested to see, kind of, he's had this amazing journey this past year of dropping so many projects and really great projects. It's definitely one of my favorite in the city, and I just can't wait to talk with him, man. So without further ado, here is Teller Banks, and you guys enjoy. All right, you guys, welcome back to Rise Again Music. We got our first ever interview on the show. Got the homie Teller Banks in the building, man. Say what's up.
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Yeah, man, appreciate you for being the first guest. Kind of start things off, man. Why don't you introduce yourself?
As he said, Teller Banks, originally from Denver, Colorado. Been living in Des Moines for, I think, getting close to 4 years now. I think I'm coming up on my Des Moines graduation.
There we
Yeah.
go.
But yeah, I'm a MC producer, organic jeweler. I hate the term, but I'm creative director for Heisman Records, and I'm the lead apparel designer for Dead Stag ENT. So I do quite a
So
bit, but I try to make
wear a lot of different hats there, but
yeah, man.
man, it's cool. First of all, man, it's just cool to see you do your thing. And you guys have been killing it, with Dead Stock, and then especially you, man. Like with this past year, it's been a lot of projects, man. You've released now with this new project. I would say what 7 projects since 2019 around there.
Let me think. I gotta think about it. I did so
It's
last
been
year.
a lot.
I did the True and Living, Rose Tinted Mirrors, the Damn, Serious Man, Called and Chosen, Old Wayne, Old Yay, the Elite Tape, Asada, and I just dropped Jackie Brown. So I'm at 10.
Yeah, 10. I mean, even
Yeah,
more. In
that's
one year, man,
crazy.
that's a lot of projects, man. You got to.
Yeah.
What was kind of the decision going into just releasing a lot of that music? Because I know some people like to, drop things here and there, maybe like once a year, twice a year. But you've been killing it, dropping a lot of projects. What's kind of the decision going into those?
Honestly, I make music every day. So like I have even in the vault, I got like 10 more albums that are already done that are in the vault. Cuz I do a lot of my own production. I do most of my own mixing and mastering and all of my own recording. So like I'm really in charge of the whole chain of creation. So there's no the only like limit or barrier on how much I can create is pretty much what I can create in a day. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Or the time that I have. And so a lot of it ends up being just kind of like going off of the feeling. I kind of feel out like the market or the crowd or whatever. I dropped my first drop, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. So I guess I dropped 2 albums before the True and Living, No Country for Old Niggas and Hellfire and Brimstone. Hellfire and Brimstone is like the beginning of the trilogy that I did with Black Knight. So we got Hellfire and Brimstone, the True and Living, and the Called and Chosen. But the True and Living was the first album that I dropped that I like made money off of and turned a profit and like did a show and sold good tickets, you know what I'm saying, and like really made some money off of this album. And so it was kind of like I look at that always as like the actual start to, you know what I'm saying, my like music career. Because I hadn't been working. I haven't worked like a actual like a square gig close to like 2 years now.
yeah,
Um, but that was the first time that I actually like made money and was able to pay bills and stuff like off of selling digital albums or selling like tickets to the shows and selling jewelry and stuff. So and the hoodies and that
yeah,
everything kind of created the model for me. And then so from there, you know that so we moved into the Dead Stock house. Me, the whole Heisman like record label, we all live in a house together. So we bought a house. We moved in February of last year, so we've been here for a little over a year now. But when we moved in, I was finishing up the True and Living. I had just finished it all up, and we had just moved in, and I was kind of figuring out the new facilities, getting everything set up. Around like March, started recording again. I recorded a whole album that's never coming out because it's pretty much garbage. I didn't have, like it's not good. And then the next thing that I recorded was so I dropped the True and Living, and then I recorded Jackie Brown and another album called Plantation, like within like a week. I literally was just locked in the studio with a bottle of plantation rum, just like fucked up every day, just making this music. And that shit came out and the shit was like great. And so that kind of like spurred it off to where I was like, I don't want to release this stuff yet. It's too precious to me. You know what I'm saying? But then I just kept working and doing stuff. And so the True Living came out. a lot of stuff kind of happened around that time. Like, you know, my birthday, Nipsey passed around that same area, that same span of time. And
Mhm.
then we postponed the album release to the next week and did it on the 13th. The album dropped. I was in the emergency room for like 5 days after that with a blood clot. And then literally the day I got out the hospital that afternoon, we took off to Denver, and like that's where I shot the video for the path and everything. You know what I mean? And it was like that kind of like kickstarted my whole like rap career. Like I'm really
Mhm.
doing this full time, and so that was really the motivation behind dropping the projects. Is just you know, I can. So like
Yeah.
why not? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I was holding on to a lot of music and like stacking it up, and then I just realized like I'm just making I got so much music, I don't even know what to do with it. Like why not? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like put it out, you know. So all of the like really, really good stuff gets strategized and has plans and whatever, but I still try to have fun with it too. So it's like, you know, there's times where like the Elite tape, you know, I made that in a day and was just like, man, I'm gonna put this out because it had been talked about for a minute or it been like
Yeah.
kind of out there for a while. So yeah, I just look at it as kind of like that balance between work and fun. You know what I mean?
No, I get you, and that's crazy about the you going to Denver and having that. I mean, I'm sure that would be a interesting start to kind of the career there, and
Yeah.
going from there, man, to see the growth in these projects, and like you said, the balance of like having the strategic placed albums and then like put out some that you're just having fun, you're having a good time. Um, I've seen not only the growth in like yourself as an artist, but then you also see the production. You like you said, a lot of the you produced, mixed, and mastered your own stuff. A lot of it, um, I'm starting to see, man. Like I feel like people kind of need to take you as both, man. Not only producing
Oh
wise,
yeah.
but then also as an artist. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
uh, it's dope to see. And then you also did the old Wayne tape, which is personally like one of my favorite tapes so far.
Same here.
Just straight freestyle like throughout the whole entire like that's I was kind of the idea behind that, like taking it back to like some Lil Wayne, how he used to do a lot of his shit through freestyles, or like tell me about
So
that.
so honestly, old Wayne, so when we first put together Dead Stock as a group, you know, we had an album, a group album that we were working on. And I used to never really freestyle. I could write fast. And so I just liked, I preferred to, you know, put my thoughts together in that way or know what I was going to do before I like kind of got in the mic and did it. And so, you know, I was working a lot with a shared studio space with Apollo and Space at the time.
Yeah.
And so Apollo and Space are both like, if they hear the beat and they like it, it's like, okay, turn on the mic. I'm gonna hop in there. Like they'll listen to the beat for 10 seconds and just go in and like
Mm-hmm.
go crazy. And so it's kind of like, you know, you're on a time limit. It's like, oh, I'm trying to write it, I'm trying to finish. But it was like I would have like 4 bars, and then it's like they're done recording, they're ready to move on to the next. Like they're like listening
Yeah.
back, Ants mixing it, all this stuff. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna get lost in the shuffle. So it kind of made me like step out and start, you know, experimenting freestyling more. And then I used to never really use auto tune. Ant hooked me on the auto tune up one time on I think we were working on Space's album, Long Story Short, which
Mm-hmm.
I actually I produced everything on that except for I think song two.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I did all the production on that one too. So we were working on that album, and I think it was the Family record. We were all going, and I was last up, and I went and I just started freestyling. And I told Ann, I was like, I don't know where you're gonna cut it off, but just cut it off somewhere, get it to a good point, and stop it. And Space was like, Nah, keep that whole thing. That shit's going. And from there, like when I heard him play it back to me with the auto tune on there, like that shit sounded just like Lil Wayne to me. Like I don't know
Yeah.
how to explain it, like the vocal tone and all that shit. And I was like, oh shit, like I sound like old Wayne. And then so I actually in the vault I have like a bunch of songs on other people's beats. I did like Since When. I did the games we play off of that Pusha T Daytona. I did a few like notable records, put together
Yeah.
like a mixtape, freestyling over with the auto tune, like you know, like on some old Wayne. And then from there, old Wayne just kind of became like a moniker, I guess. It's like if I hop in a booth and I'm toe up and I'm about to just do something, it was like, that's old Wayne coming out. So the old Wayne tape was pretty much like every song is named after alcohol that I was drinking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Havana Club Gin, Modelo, everything is like named after some alcohol, except for I think like a couple of the records. But so it was really just about having a good time. I was making everything was made right there. Like I make the beat and then I just inspired to hop in there and do something. Try to see what I could come up with for it. But Old Wayne is like the most fun I've ever had recording or making anything, because I didn't make it with any like idea in mind of how it was gonna do or
Yeah.
I was gonna drop it or what it was gonna be.
It was more
It
just about your music,
like,
right?
yeah, I'm just having fun. I'm just, I'm very like message conscious in a way. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a conscious rapper, but I'm very like cognizant of what I'm actually saying and what I'm doing in the message or whatever. So it was kind of nice to be able to just kind of like cut loose and rap some shit and just rap like everybody else rap. You know what I mean? All
Yep.
the time. You know what I mean? So yeah, well, Wayne mean a lot to me for sure.
That's dope. And like I said, man, it shows kind of the ability of what you kind of got under the tool. You know what I mean? Like you got different flexibility as an artist, and I'm sure that's something that it's kind of just grown from some of your previous projects and everything. But before we get to talking about Jackie Brown, man, I just wanted to ask you a couple questions. As you know, we're all staying at home right now. What's some projects or some albums, from other people that you're listening to, front to back? What's some recommendations you can
Front
give
to
to people?
back, man, that Stove God Cooks Reasonable Drought is probably one of the best like debut projects I've heard from an artist in a while. I'm very big on like the underground scene, so West Side Gun has always been a huge like inspiration and like just almost like a career model for me. I've been following his career since shit. I remember when I first followed West Side Gun, he was following 9,000 people and had like 1,500 followers. I remember the first time I followed Benny. Benny was never even on Twitter. He had like literally 54 followers. I think I was
Wow.
like his 55th follower, but he didn't really follow nobody either. You could tell he was just somebody told him to make that shit and he made it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm big on that. I listen to a lot of Bodie James, the Price T in China with Alchemist, amazing album. Um, that Freddie Gibbs is still in my rotation. What Machine Gun Do is still in my rotation. Pray for Paris. Like I said, that Reasonable Drought, Stove God. I listen to a lot of R&B too. A lot of people probably think I just listen to rap shit all day, but I listen to a lot of R&B. So I've been on that Giveon, very talented artist. I
Yes.
listen to a lot of Sir. Just everything in his catalog to me is hard. I'm still listening to Chasing Summer, even like it just came out.
So
Um,
amazing, man. I think he
yeah.
and then crazy enough, then he's got his brother D Smoke, who's out here. I don't know if you heard
Is
of
that
him,
his
but
brother?
bro, that's his brother.
That's wow.
That's a talented ass family, man. Like,
Man, I had no idea that was his.
yeah, I found that
Okay,
out like a couple weeks ago. I was texting my homie about it, and like I was like, "Yo, did you know Sir is D Smoke's brother?" And like, think about
that's
that family,
wow.
man. Right?
See, I like Sir. I watch his videos just because I'm always impressed with the his ability to assemble large amounts of beautiful women.
Yeah.
Like every video, every Sir video is like you count off at least 20 like bad ones, and they just standing
Right?
there. They just do like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
they're
like
just
man,
they're
I
just
can't
chilling.
wait
Like,
until I got it in the budget. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I've been listening to that. Another dude I like a lot. He's kind of a smaller cat. His name Brandon Cooks. Uh, he's like a saxophonist, jazz singer. He just dropped a project called Fire Sign. That's really good. Some R&B stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, I kind of float between the very like grim, dark underground shit and R&B. Oh, you know what? Shout out my man Uncle John. He actually just dropped a new album, Face of Jason, yesterday on the 21st. That's going crazy. My man Prose is dropping an album today at some point. I'm on there. Um, that's gonna go pretty crazy too. So I stay a lot. I listen to a lot of the mainstream, I guess, stuff just to, I guess, stay afloat. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
See what it sounded like or what it is.
Yeah.
but my heart is really kind of into the the underground scene. That's a lot of the stuff that I'm listening to. I listen to a lot of local stuff too. I listen to Fly Life, UVT. I feel bad, but honestly, I like just listened to Psycho's album for the first time the other day.
Yeah.
I just don't get a lot of time really to like listen to stuff. And so I have like my go-tos. I drive like an old school, so I know what's gonna sound good in there. A lot of
Yeah.
like new shit don't sound good in my car. So like I
Yeah.
listen to that, it's gotta have that feeling that that boom bap it just come through my
Yeah.
car clean, so I listen to
Yeah.
stuff that makes me feel good. Um, but yeah, I try to stay tapped into the local scene and check out everybody's stuff that's coming out. You know what I mean? Even if it's not, you know, I don't want to say like nobody's music is like bad or whatever, but even if it's stuff that I don't necessarily like think I would like, I still
Hmm.
like to go and tap into it just to see, just because I feel like, I want people to do that for me, so I can't be a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for real. And then that's and it's good to be in that underground scene too, with your music. And because I mean, of course we all listen to mainstream artists, like, it's the out there, so we're gonna see it, but to tap into different artists is always nice. And especially with our scene here, I think as an artist, I'm sure like you got to kind of tap in and see what people are listening to in the city and what your city's doing too, so that you can go out and produce whatever you're making and kind of do your thing. And submit your kind of blueprint or something, if you'd like to say, into the city. I'm
Yeah.
sure. But kind of getting into your new project, man, Jackie Brown. I gotta say, man, I just listened to it front to back yesterday, and it's. I feel like this is, and like I've listened to a lot of your projects, man. You're one of my favorites in the city, and
Thank
I
you.
feel like it's your cleanest album, if that makes sense. Like just
Yeah,
production wise,
absolutely.
lyrically, like it's definitely one of my favorites. Um, Pull Up. I don't know why. I was just in the car, man. I was going to get some gas and stuff. Like, I was listening to Pull Up, and just the production and how you did that. Like, that it was amazing, man. Like, you've
Thank you.
been killing it. But tell me about the project, Jackie Brown, man. How'd that come about?
Man, so like I said, Jackie Brown was really like me just carrying the energy and excitement for moving in. I got a real nice studio set up now. I'm very blessed. I never really had nice stuff to work with prior. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much even prior to like meeting Be Well and being able to work with before, when I would work with AM Mixes, recording with him. I came up, I still have this laptop now. It's still in the 4x3 like square old Dell laptop. Like
Yeah.
I came up, like I used to record into the back of headphones through the audio or through the mic jack in the little audio joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like this was my first time having like I actually have everything that I need to create. Let me see what I can do with it. And so Jackie Brown is actually a year old. I made all of this stuff in April of 2019,
Wow.
and I had just been holding on to it because I was so like it was just so precious to me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I really did. Before it came out, I went through and remixed and remastered every element of the album. As far as like from the production to the vocals to everything. So I feel like this is like when they like you've been following artists for a while, and then it's like all of a sudden they drop their debut album and it's like their
Yeah.
fifth album or some shit. It's
Yeah.
like I look at Jackie Brown like it's my debut album. It's my first one that I feel like that came out that's like you said, it's 100% clean. It's not a eclectic sound. You know what I mean? It's not like you know, actually the mix and everything on the Called and Chosen was also like
Yeah.
pretty
No,
good.
it was.
I feel like me and Black Knight just have this chemistry where my voice just fits in his beats to where I don't have to do a lot to it. It sounds good just in its natural state. But with Jackie Brown, I really experimented with a lot of different sounds. I really I didn't want to do something that was like, I don't know how to explain it. Not necessarily normal, but I have a library of sounds. And before I made Jackie Brown, I went through and I got all new sounds for it. So everything that was on, Jackie Brown and Plantation was like the beginning of a new era in
Mm.
sound and, just even instrumentation for me. So I feel like it just carried off that strength. And like truth be told, I recorded everything on that album within like a 3 or 4 day period.
Wow.
I was just going. It was like I would just have song after song. They were just flowing out of me. I'd make the beat and I'd record on it, and then I'll just move on to the next one. And so it took me kind of, I guess, having that year to marinate on it, to be able to pick apart and find the different elements and stuff that I need to fix, places I need to clean it up. And
Mhm.
just as my other albums got better, then it was like, okay, that was the reason why I saved this, was so that I could learn from everything that I had done up to that point and then do it. Because I feel like Old Wayne was good. There was some audio like issues with it, as far as like the sound levels and things like that, where I was still figuring out my like. I feel like Old Wayne is where I mastered my production bag. Like the
Mhm.
production on Old Wayne is insane, but the mastering and mixing and shit wasn't all the way there yet. So then it was like with Oh Yeah, I got a little bit better, and then the Elite tape, it got a little bit better, and then it was like Jackie Brown was like, I took everything that I've learned from the True and Living up until now and was able to put it all together, you know. But yeah, Jackie Brown means a lot to me. Just because, like I said, the moment it was created, the era, I had a lot of emotionality, a lot of things going on in my personal life.
Yeah.
A lot of things were going on externally with just, you know, in the world. A lot of just mourning and loss and grieving was going on at this time. And I feel like somehow I was able to just put it together and create like when I look at my albums, this one has, I guess, the biggest like range of emotion spectrum. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I look at it like if there was any album that you were going to be introduced to me with, this is the one. You know what I mean? Because it's going to give you that element. I'm singing a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
rapping in the beginning. I'm, you know, having fun with it. You know, I have all of those elements from the serious to the jokes. You know what I mean, in this album. So yeah, that's how I look at it. I look at it like my, you know, new
The
age debut album, even though I got 10 in the bank, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
this is the one where I'm like, this sets the bar for everything going forward. You know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
before it was kind of like, you know, not to say that those projects weren't good, because I look at everything that I made at the time that I make it and drop it, it's my favorite shit of all time. Like it's the
Yeah.
greatest shit that ever happened. It's great.
You
You know
got
what I
to.
mean? But I look at all of those things almost as like I don't know, building blocks. I'm just trying to create a platform so that when I can you know, I have projects now that I do know that like mean even more to me than the reason why I dropped Jackie Brown is because I completed another project that meant so much to me that I was like, man, I got to build up this platform now for
Yeah.
this project. So I'm okay with, you know, letting Jackie Brown be part of that foundation now,
Yeah.
rather than being like the crown jewel of, you know what I mean, my discography. Because I think everything that I drop is, you know, either underrated or undervalued. I feel like every artist to some degree, you know, is going to feel that way about their
Yeah.
stuff, you know what I mean, until they're getting, you know, millions in the
Yeah.
bank for it. And even then, they're like, you see them where they're like, you know, oh, I'm still, you know, you see Kanye and you still see how he talks and how he is.
Yeah.
And like, I resonate with that though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when he said, I am Steve Jobs, I am Walt Disney. Like, nah, I feel that. You know what I mean? I feel like there is that level of genius in, you know what I mean, not just in my creation but in a lot of people's creation, where it's
Yeah.
like there is no separation between you, and if you really follow what you're trying to do and get there, like, you know, you
You
can't
can get
tell
there.
me I'm not as
Yeah.
smart as Steve Jobs is when it comes to like music and sound and
Yeah.
producing and creating you know, even like a visual palette for someone to look at.
Mhm.
Like that's just what I do. And so not letting people devalue my art or devalue my creation, if it, whether it be in the way that it's received or the way that it's, you know, released or the way that it's kind of like not whole, you know, everything now is kind of popcorn microwave culture. It comes and it
Mhm.
goes. So it's like I don't care that people aren't still talking about old Wayne as much or aren't talking about old Ye as much. You know, I know what it means to me, and I know that someone who values the art and sees it will come across this and be like, yo, this is amazing. You know what I mean? And so eventually, whenever it does happen, or when people do, I get new fans that come by and discover my discography and all
They
that.
see it all.
oh yeah, they're always like taken aback at how, oh, I came to you because, I like the masked up video. And then it's like, but I stayed because I found the call to chosen, and that,
Yeah.
you know, resonated with me more than the rest of this stuff. But it's kind of like just giving people that option to take it as it was and not get too frustrated with, how I feel like the world should perceive or give me accolades. Just being comfortable giving myself those accolades. I feel like that's a problem a lot of people have is they won't say how they feel unless somebody else echoes that sentiment first. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care how anybody feels or says about it. I feel like I'm the greatest artist in the world. I don't feel like I'm, as you were saying in a conversation we had earlier when you talk about local versus, everybody else. I don't see myself in that. I got drafted. I'm in the league. I'm in the same league as Drake and Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
I'm not starting right now. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm a free agent, or I'm in the D League, or I'm on the practice squad. But I got to work out. I can't view the other people in the G League as my competition. I can't view the other people on the practice squad as my competition. My competition is whoever's starting at my position. If I'm a running back and I'm in the NFL and I make the practice squad, I'm not competing with the other running back on practice squad. I'm competing with not even the other running back on my team. I'm competing with whoever the best running back in the league is, because that's what I feel for myself. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like a lot of people let their self-esteem or their own mind or just spirit get worn down by waiting for the accolades from other people, when it's like, who you are and what you've created and what it means to you. Accept that, feel that, walk around like, they'll call it arrogance or whatever, but who cares? You know what I mean? Like, that's just, how I feel about it. If somebody wants to tell me that I'm not better than Drake, I'll just say, okay, you know what I mean? You can feel that way if you want to. Yeah, he got more money than me. He's got this and all that. I don't care. If you put me in a room, with him, I'm gonna rap. I'm gonna rap, sing, produce, do everything better than that man. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about anybody on the planet. So,
and you have to feel that because
and I'm not gonna not feel that way just because somebody disagrees with that, or somebody who has never really even seen me create or be involved or see what I'm able to do or the reason why I feel the way that I do, be like, no, you shouldn't feel that way just because you shouldn't. You know what I mean? It's not, exceptionally acceptable to think so highly of yourself. I think that's the biggest problem with everything as far as artistry and anything. And so you see people will put on a front like it doesn't affect them until they have a meltdown or an explosion, and everybody's looking like, yeah, you see this guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? When it's like, I'd rather everybody just think I'm crazy from the jump. You know what I mean? Like, people think I'm insane when I tell them, like, dude, I'm way better than Kendrick Lamar. They'll be like, what? Kendrick Lamar? I'm like, dude, don't care. Like,
that's
you
what people
put
don't
Kendrick
get
in a
is
room with
because
me, he's lunch meat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I feel
Kendrick
about
was
anything.
starting off at some point, just like anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he was just, in his area and trying to, push his content, his music, at a point in time. He just grew himself to do that. That's why I never understand why a lot of people, that's why we were like, when we were talking off camera about the local versus national scene, just everything. It's like, you're an artist. Like, everyone who's here is an artist, so when you're talking about, with the projects, being looking into where you should drop it, and then also having fun, and then it leading up to this project, like, I see the vision, I see why you chose that, and you can hear it too. If you listen to, your projects, you see that for real.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's, I think it's important. And honestly, like, one of the biggest takeaways that has helped me grow in my career and just in everything is just realizing, like, people won't support you for free anyway. So why not charge them?
Yeah.
Because the same people that will support you for free will support you for $2 or $3, will support you for $5 to $10. And then when you get people who really do want to support you and spend money, I put my albums on Bandcamp, and sometimes I have them just pay what you want. Sometimes I have a set price, but there are people who have bought one of my albums. I had somebody buy one of my albums for $100 just because that's what it meant to them. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, before, when I was all in my head about, albums don't sell, or when I was only putting out free stuff, it's like I wasn't even giving people the opportunity to support me if they wanted to, because of blocks I put in my own head about what is this or what is that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, now, do my streams do? I'm not hitting a million streams, so I don't care about my streams until I hit a million. I'm like, you know what I mean? But I've made substantial amounts of money just because I valued my creation enough to put a price on it
Yeah.
and give people that ability to, support and purchase things if they want to, or if they want to, be a part of something, or I give them something where now it's like, okay, yeah, I want to be a part of this. I'm going to own this. I'm going to own a piece of this. You know what I mean? The people who own the True and Living or not the True and Living, the Called and Chosen CDs, like, yeah, it's a CD. You know what I mean? They don't need to buy it. It's on every streaming platform, but they feel something when they hold that physical, or when they look at it, it makes them feel like, yo, I was a part of something. I helped build this career. I helped build or helped create this art or sustain this art to go forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like, that's us. The business model that I run with is, people are, I put some stuff out for free that's like for free, but I put some stuff out for people to pay, and people pay for it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Now that I let them, but
It's
before I wouldn't
the
even let people
support
pay.
of both, and yeah.
Yeah, and that helped drive me. The first time I ever sold an album or sold something, it was like selling. Like I said, the True and Living, I look at that as the beginning of my career. I had been recording music since 2010, recording and releasing music.
Yeah.
And I look at the beginning of my actual recording and process and everything, where it all starts to me was that first time I sold, a digital album to a complete stranger. And they thanked me for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it was just a mind boggle. It was like
It's got to be
oh
like a good
shit.
feeling to be, yeah.
Yeah, all of that frustration. Like I said, a lot of people, like, I understand the artistic struggle of frustration of people aren't giving this the credit, or people aren't valuing this for what it's worth or what it is. And so you devalue yourself in an attempt to make it more palatable for everybody. Well, maybe if I just give it away to everyone for free, or maybe if I just do this, or maybe if I, you know what I mean, or maybe if I stop making what I like and start trying to make what other people like, or you know what I mean, when it's like,
Yeah.
you just gotta find your path and your course and go with it, and people are gonna support it if they see that you are really passionate, that you're really having a good time, and that you're doing it at a high level. I think the effort is like the main thing that people like enjoy, and that's why I put out so much music, because it's like, I'm blessed to do this every day. Why would I not,
Yeah.
record?
If you have the
Why would I not?
opportunity, why
Yeah,
not?
why would I not drop? I could drop, you know, I got 132 unreleased songs in my iTunes right now that I'm looking at. I
Yeah.
could drop a single every day, damn near, for the rest of the year. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? If I wanted to, but it's like, why not? Why not drop an album every? You know what I mean? And see if people want to pay for it, and see if people want to
Yeah.
buy it. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of it. Sorry, I'm getting like ran off of
No,
my
you're
point.
good.
I have to
No, you're
edit some of
good.
this part of this. But I guess my main point is, having confidence in yourself and not needing the external validation will do so much for you in terms of like finally gaining that. You know what I mean? And now it's like, you'll get that as long as you give people the opportunity to support you. And like you said, you're not so worried about who's not supporting you, that you're not even giving people who want to an opportunity,
Yeah.
getting out of your own way and accepting, like, no, it doesn't matter if I only have 100 streams on this song. Like, I am really fucking good at this. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Regardless of what anybody thinks, like, I'm really good at this, and I'm gonna keep doing this, and I'm gonna keep getting better at it. And people are gonna see that and notice it. You know what I mean? It's undeniable once you reach a certain point.
For
I don't
real.
think music is for everybody. I'm a very like staunch critic. I'll tell people straight up,
Yeah.
like, man, you might want to try something else. But if it's in you, and like I said, you know how many rich people, you know how many people are incredibly wealthy off of shit that I hate.
Right.
So it's like, who gives a fuck if anybody doesn't like your shit? Like, there's
Some
300 million people on this country,
somebody's gonna like
7 billion
it.
people on the world. You telling me you if you appeal to 0.1, 0.001% of people, you will be wealthy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, so yeah, man, that's just how I look at the art, and why I try to, supply so much of it.
Yeah. No, for real. And I completely understand that, man. Especially, yeah, when I did see that you started charging for some like digital albums, and then like the physical copies of things, like I thought it was very smart because why not? You know, a lot of people think, you know, whether it's artists or small business or just things like that in general, that we should give our things out for free. We should, you know, things like that. Like people, people got to understand, one, we gotta feed our families, we gotta eat too and everything, and then on top of that, like, we're just like everybody else. You know, you're just like any other artist out there that's trying to, you know, release their content and then also do this for a living, like you said. So I definitely respect that, man, and I just can't wait to see, you know, what you got going on in the future. But yeah, man, Jackie Brown's definitely, man, one of my favorite projects that you've had. Like I said, clean. A lot of the features on there too. It seemed like you're very selective on, like, when you had the features. You know, with I guess that's the kind of I want to close thing. So with the album, you know, being a little bit earlier, you know, you said you kind of had it done last year. Did you have the features done last year, or was it something that you kind of selective on that you decided around this year?
Yeah, no, I had all the features done last year.
Nice.
So yeah, the first feature that I had was my man Hayes. He's out in he's out from I want to say Lynn, Massachusetts, but he might be from Boston. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to give him mixed up, so we'll just
Yeah.
say he's from Massachusetts. He's from MA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's part of he's pretty heavy in the underground scene. You know, he was a guy who you know, when he reached out to me and told me he was a fan of my artistry, it was kind of like I was taken aback because, like I said,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the underground scene, and so I seen the kind of weight that he held, and you know, I've been a big fan of his music. And so when he reached out to me and wanted to work on something, you know, we've worked on me and him are actually like friends now. You know what I'm saying? Like actually like check in with each other, see how each other doing and stuff on a regular outside of music.
Right.
So that was the first feature that I got on it. The Fly Life feature came a little bit later, just because I wanted a feature on Wrist Bath, just because I really didn't feel like rapping again after I did my first verse, but I didn't want
Yeah.
to end the song. I felt like it needed something else. I wanted that beat to keep playing. Wrist Bath was actually the first song that I recorded for Jackie Brown.
Okay.
So that's the oldest one on the whole album. So I did that one. I kind of sat with it for a little while, and then once I kind of got more, I had known like the UVT, you know, the squad. I had them come and they performed at the True and Living show, um, and so that kind of like helped foster that relationship. And then once I met, like I'm very, like you said, I'm very selective on my features. And so
Yeah.
after meeting Fly Life and just kind of seeing how he operates and what kind of person he was, I was like, yeah, I want to have him, you know, be a part of this album. Because I look at features like that's immortalized forever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it don't matter. You can take away. Like I always just he'll always be attached to a piece of my art, whoever is featured on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so who that person is as important to me as the talent that they can provide to the song. And so I looked at, you know, Fly Life's talent and everything and disability, like you said, to bridge the connection in the city. Cause I feel like, I don't want to say there's like division in the city, you know what I mean? But there is a lot of, I feel like, division in the city where it's like, you know, certain groups are super popular on one side of town versus on another side of town. It's like
Hmm.
they might not even really know who this person is. I don't know how, you know what I mean? But I see
Yeah.
that happen a lot. And so it's kind of like the more I can do to bridge that gap, you know what I mean, the more I'll try to. And then, you know, of course, Bill, you know,
Yeah.
he heard the Mac and the bitch beat and was just like, what you doing with that? That's how Bill get me. I'll be in the studio cooking and I'll just see him. I'll look out, you know what I mean? I'll see him and be like, yo, what's the word
Yeah.
on this one?
Let's hop on
So
it.
Mac and the Bitch is actually a series. I got like four Mac and the Bitches.
Yeah.
Bill is on like three of them, and then I got one that's just me. But that whole series just started just because, like, I don't know, just having fun, like,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, very, very selective on my features. So I actively encourage people not to ask me for features, even if they're trying to pay me. Like,
Yeah.
most of the time you can't give me enough money to make it worth my time or like worth my morals. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, certain times, like people will hit me up and I'll do features for people, and I have my frequent like collaborators like Prose, Sequence. You know, I've done work with Rolling Streets. I love to work with Uncle John. There's a few cats that I've like reached out to.
Yeah.
You know, Vic Spencer is somebody I worked with a long time ago, and we got a song, but it never came out. But I still want to work with him some more. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, I'm very selective in the features just because, like, like I said, my art is like, I feel like most of the time people will ask me for a feature or want to feature on something that's got like ill intentions behind it. It's not
Hmm.
about the music. It's about, oh, I want to try to profit off of, your imagery or your, what I
Yeah.
mean, artistry, or you got a buzz right now. So I'm trying to hop onto that versus like, I actually feel like I listen to your music and I feel like you could contribute something for this, or I made this song with you in mind.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Like, I turned down a lot of features because people will ask me for a feature or say they've always want to do a song with me, and then they'll just send me a blank beat
Yeah.
like that they just found, or a few of them. It's like whenever I have a feature, like I kind of have that in mind
You have
already.
the idea of like who you want to put on
Yeah,
there.
or I want to
Yeah.
bounce this off, or I'm gonna have something like for example, so my next, I don't want to say my next big project, but the project I've been putting all of my most of my time and focus into right now is I don't know when it's gonna drop. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna even put, it might be 2022 before this damn thing drops. Because I'm not gonna drop it before the platform is ready because
Yeah.
it's too important. But it's the grotesque and beautiful, and so I wrote all of these songs that I have. Like, when I bounce the song out, I have the feature's name in the title because like I'm going to get that feature. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I see that song with that person on it.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is people that I like know will contribute. You know what I'm saying? Or know will like work with me or want to work with me. There's a
Mhm.
few that I'm like, I'm gonna just ask them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I have you in mind, or I see you, your voice, or you know what I'm saying? What you do well fits this song. So
Yeah. It's the art, it's the
yeah,
vision of it versus the like the clout of the future or like
yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody that features on my albums, is people that I have real life relationships with. I talk to Fly Life on the phone. You know what I'm saying? I talk to him about shit that's not music. I
Yeah.
talk to Hayes about life and family. I check in on him about how he's doing with his son and everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Bill, obviously, like we live together, so
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. I chop with him. Me and Prose talk on the phone often. Me and Akeem talk. That's like my brother. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's all
So
love.
yeah, my music means so much to me that it's like I can't just let anybody and everybody be a part of it. That's why I
Yeah.
don't sell beats. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I guess I have, you know what I'm saying, to people that I know, but
But not like
like
completely like go
yeah,
and sell beats just to like
yeah, I don't want
anybody
to start a
random.
YouTube. I don't want to have a YouTube where anybody can just hop
Yeah.
on like, yo, this is a Teller Banks beat, because it's like, man, I really like all of my recording and producing and making music is a very spiritual process to me. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like these songs become a part of me, or they represent part of my essence. And so it's
Yeah.
like you can take that and bottle it and use it for your own will or whatever you want to do with it. It might not be in line with what I got going, or who, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
might not want to be associated with you as a man or a woman, you know what I'm saying? Let alone as an artist. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
No, I
very
get that. No, for real, and it's definitely important to do that because you don't want to, as an artist, I'm sure you don't want to feature on everybody's album, and then vice versa. Like you don't want an album with a but because you want to show your artistry too, while also if you're going to select some people, maybe like put like you said, like it's got to work.
yeah.
Kind of to wrap things up, man. First of all, I do want to thank you for coming on and being the first guest.
And
You
thank you
did
for having
state
me.
that there might be a new project. We're gonna, we'll see that when that time comes. But you did state on social media that you said that Jackie Brown might be the last project for a while. So if this is the last project for a while, man, what do you got to say? Kind of closing things about Jackie Brown, man.
Man, Jackie Brown's a lot of fun. I encourage everybody, if you haven't already listened to the album, to go check it out. Just because, like I said, it's the best. I feel like introduction to me as an artist, and even just a glimpse into my world. I feel like not that it lacks depth, but a lot of my other albums are very like conceptual and go deep into one direction, and this one kind of just gives you a nice like scenic view of everything that I got going on, those both musically and just kind of like mentally and emotionally. It's a good spectrum. Um but yeah, I'm debating kind of not necessarily taking a step back from music, just because like I have so much music, I'll probably still be feed and stuff off. I have too much. I almost
Yeah.
like I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
I used to do a lot of like, well, actually, I won't even talk about that. But I got some stuff that I've created that's not gonna come out as me, but
Yeah.
it's gonna come out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm working on different endeavors, just as far as like shoring up the financial end of things, trying to get everything with that situated, and then just I'm really tapped. Like I said, this grotesque and beautiful is. I don't want to devalue my other albums, but I feel like there was always something missing from my catalog, or like even when I talk to people, it's like I've never really made like a song. You know what I'm saying? Where it's
Yeah.
like I have an idea of what I'm doing. Everything is very loose and free flowing and very creative, and so is this album. But just when I comparatively, I hate comparisons, but I know it's the only way a lot of people's mind works. This is like you know my like Good Kid, Mad City, or
Hmm.
like my like The Cool, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. It's a very narrative driven, but it's not over the top conceptual. It's like if you're able to break down the album, then you'll understand exactly what's happening here. But even if you just view it on a surface level, it's enjoyable music to listen to.
Oh,
Um, so it's taken a bit more out of me, and it's coming from a very I don't think I've ever been this personal in my music. So it's coming from a very personal place. And like I said, I just something about this project. As soon as I made the first song on it, I knew like that I almost this is the reason why Jackie Brown is out right now is because of this album. Not that all of my other music doesn't mean anything anymore, but I knew it this is what it was all for. Like this is why, you know what I mean? I feel good enough about the grotesque and beautiful. If that was the last album I ever made, like straight, you know what I mean?
yeah.
It won't be, but if it was, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I can finally go and like I can look Lupe in the eye and he'll be he can't deny me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he can't act like I'm not really nice with it because this album is like I've never had anything so cohesive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
I
a
get you.
novel. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like to me. Is I see it more visually than I hear it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what most of my focus would be going on. And really, it was just play on words. When I say it might be my last project for a while, I mean
Yeah.
I might just be dropping singles every week for the next 6 months until you know what I mean. I decide to drop a full length again, or until
Yeah.
somebody sends me a pack of beats and I have fun with it one day.
Yeah.
Uh,
I get you.
but yeah, Jackie Brown. Man, you know what's crazy? I just blatantly lied because Jackie Brown will for sure not be my last project because I have to drop Plantation. Plantation is an R&B album I've been working on. I did it right after I made right after I made Jackie Brown, so
Yeah.
they're tied together for me, and I'm not gonna go on like there's like 10 songs on the album, so I'm not gonna do like two and a half
Yeah.
month stretch where I'm just dropping R&B singles every week. So I gotta just get that out
So
the way.
we can
Yeah,
expect
I
more from
played
you
it on
coming
my
real
live
soon.
stream, and it was like it almost made me mad because it was like nobody wanted to hear none of the other shit. Every time I would play something that wasn't on Plantation, like 4 or 5 chicks would hop up in the messages again. Plantation, play Plantation, Plantation. So I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll give y'all Plantation. Goddamn, I didn't even want to drop Plantation as myself. Uh, because I feel like there's a lot of stigma. I'm my lane is underground boom bap hip hop.
Yeah.
My fan base is 25 to 50-year-old like men. You know what I'm saying? Like just it
Yeah.
is what it is. I see my numbers. I see what I'm doing, who I'm selling stuff to, and so it's like to just go completely left field on them out of nowhere with an R&B album is like. But at the same time, it's like I'm a human being. I have a lot of spectrum of emotion in me. I'm not just like a gangster all the time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And even then, I am gangster. Ghostface Killer used to pull up bumping R&B on the stick ups. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
that's in me. So I'm like, I'm not self conscious as I was about it. Around the same time last year, there was no way in hell Plantation was ever coming out under my
Yeah.
name. It was gonna be something I'll probably package and sell, try to sell off as reference tracks or sell to another song, singer with
Yeah.
me doing the production and songwriting credits on it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
now I'm like, I don't care. This ain't
It's
like
the
none of these
mix,
dudes.
you know, and yeah.
Man, they see me on these bags. These dudes ain't beating me up, and we can go to the gun range and test aim. I ain't trying to
It's
shoot
like,
at
listen,
nobody, but
man,
if
just
you
let
want
him
to
drop
test
this
it, you know what I
album.
mean. I'll show and
Yeah.
prove at any given occasion. So I'm not worried about people thinking anything about the album no more.
Yeah,
So
man.
that'll be probably Plantation will probably be my last like full length project for a while. I don't have a date on when that's gonna
Yeah.
come out.
Not for real.
But yeah.
That's
I
all,
might
man.
drop it. I might drop it sooner than later, just because everybody's stuck in quarantine. I'm like, yeah,
Hey, man,
I'm
it's
gonna
the
make y'all
perfect
feel the
time,
feelings, man.
right? Well, man, I
But yeah.
appreciate you for coming on. Jackie Brown. It's available on all platforms. Is there a physical copy that people can buy right now, or?
No, not right now. Just encouraging everybody to, if they want to financially support. I'm running a lot of merch right now. We just dropped the Dead Stock Olympian track jackets on all the Instagrams and Twitters. You can check them out. We're just doing that. We're doing it straight out the trunk, baby. If you want one,
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Holla at me, man. I got it. Ain't no
man.
website or nothing, you know what I'm saying? Just, I don't need no, man. Everybody got Cash App, you know what I'm saying? That's my,
Yeah.
hey, well, I don't have Cash App personally. I'm banned from all of those platforms, but the team has
The
Cash App.
team
The
has
team
Cash
got it. You can
App.
slide some cash. There's ways around it. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what we're doing right now. Is mostly focusing on moving that merch. Been selling a
Yep.
lot of hoodies. Been selling a lot of jackets. We got a lot of clothes in store. I'll be stringing up some jewelry here soon. So yeah, if people want to financially support, I'll definitely have some avenues for them. But Jackie Brown is available on Bandcamp. Pay what you want if you do want to get a digital copy. Because who knows, man, these streams might all be gone one day.
Right.
But yeah, if you want to immortalize it in your hard drive, you can send me a buck or your email or whatever, and it'll be there for you. But yeah, I didn't really want to, in my head, I thought I was going to make $1 million off of Jackie Brown. So anything less than that just doesn't feel right. So I'd almost prefer to, you just give me what you want for it, and
Yeah.
I won't think too much of it. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Awesome, man. Appreciate you for coming on.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
All right, you guys, I want to thank you for tuning in for the Teller Banks interview. Definitely a lot of great takeaways from this episode. This was really cool too, doing like a Skype interview and talking with him, but I hadn't talked with him for a while, so it was really cool catching up. But man, overall, I really do think, he's smart for one, just how he talks about his music and how his knowledge, within the music game is very interesting to talk with him about. And this journey that he's had, like I said, before with his projects, I mean, his versatility, you can see in his music, and I definitely understand where he was saying that this Jackie Brown album is kind of like what he considers his debut album, because I think, like I told him in the interview, I think it's a clean album, man. I think just production wise, lyrically, not too many features. Just all together, like it's a beautiful album. So shout out to him. I definitely appreciate him coming on, and that's gonna do it for this episode. Hopefully you guys like, I'm gonna kind of throw around some of these interviews on the shows once in a while. And yeah, man, what are you guys listening to during this quarantine? I really am always curious. I always want to listen to new artists. And what are your guys' thoughts of the Jackie Brown album from Teller Banks? Let me know in the comments below. Again, I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can follow me on Instagram at RAVPhoenix. That's my personal page. And then you can follow Rise Again Media, anything related, content-wise, I'm posting up on there, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Rise Again Create. My name's Phoenix, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.